Welcome to Money Moves. This is a program that helps you take control of your financial life. No jargon, no judgment, just actionable financial advice. I'm Jill Schlesinger. I'm joined by Mark Talercio. Hello, Mark.
Hello, Jill.
You're looking good. You're looking just like you did in the last show.
It's amazing how that happens.
It's August. We're putting some shows in the can, gang, so don't be commenting on the show, on what we look like show to show. Just take it as like a bunch of shows. Mark, you've heard about the wealth gap, I presume.
Yes, it's getting wider and wider, or not so much.
Well, you have heard of the K-shaped recovery. You've heard me talk about this on TV and on our other show where we describe, just think of it this way. You look at the letter K, right?
Special K,
and
yeah.
one arm goes up, one arm goes down. And the K-shape was a way to describe the economy where people who had money and had good jobs, making a lot of money, their lot in life was going up, and for everyone else, it was going down. And so this K-shaped economy has come to kind of, I would say, frame the post-pandemic era, and it speaks to what is often called the wealth gap. And there's a recent article in CNN that talked about that maybe that idea around the wealth gap and the K-shaped economy, maybe this is all crap. I'm just going to give you some of the stats, and then let's talk about it.
Give me the highlights.
Highlights. The difference in spending growth between higher and lower income Americans is the narrowest it has been in 3 years. The difference in spending growth.
Only 3 years.
It's only 3 years.
Not a huge period.
No. This is a June report from researchers at PNC Bank. Separate study from Bank of America, no difference in earnings growth between rich and poor last month. Okay. So this is a little bit of a time horizon issue. You know what I mean? Like, so we're talking about a few years. I get it. There has been a lot of writing and discussion about the fact that the very rich are getting richer and the poor and the middle get left behind. I always think that these are somewhat overstated no matter what, either way, in either direction.
So is this saying that the poor, I don't want to say,
lower income.
The lower income people are spending more money now versus the wealthy?
Well, it's spending growth, meaning like the rate of growth of your spending. So you're spending more. You're spending more because inflation has gone up and prices are higher. But the gap of discretionary spending, this is now, again, this is like just a very short time horizon. The gap in discretionary spending growth shrank to its narrowest point in June since a year ago. Okay, so the thing is, if you've got discretionary money and you can spend it, this goes to, why people can see the economy growing, but it feels like prices are still high and people feel pessimistic, but things are okay. And I understand that these trends, you want to look for a little glimmer of hope that, oh no, maybe it's better than we thought. When you look at the income of the United States, we just interviewed this guy, Joseph Maury. We have like really interesting data that he goes back and he says, hey, actually to be poor, middle class, or rich today is way better than it was a long time ago. Not even like, we're not talking 5 years ago.
And even like the poorest state in America, you're way better off than countries in Europe.
Exactly right. So we ought to, oh my God, the Norwegian and Swedish models, and they're so great. But like, things are okay here. It's just we do have a lot of negativity. I think that there is a sense that the people at the tippy top, like we have a lot of talk about billionaires. I don't remember anyone talking about a billionaire, even when there were billionaires. Like I really don't remember this focus on these people who have so much money. And so whether it's Elon Musk or any of the tech bros, whatever. And I think that when you have all these stories about this, you start looking at data and you parse data the way you want to parse it, and you tell a story of a K-shaped recovery. Okay, people who make a lot of money have money, and these who don't. But we do know that the wealth is growing. Like if you own a house, if you own a stock or a mutual fund or a retirement account, your total wealth is growing. And we know that people during the pandemic at the lower end were helped because there was a lot of government money shelled out and they paid down debt, and so their balance sheets look better. When people get a raise, they think they've earned it. They believe their hard work has made these gains. I think that when people look at inflation, it's being done to them.
Right.
And it's all the same story. Like wages are going up because the companies have to pay you more to be able so you can afford your life, and all of these are of a story. I think the story of the first 25 and a half years of this century is still being written, but what we do know is that a lot of people were able to create wealth during this period of time. The ones at the tippy top really create a ton more wealth. A lot of the middle class anxiety is about, being left behind, but we don't talk about the people who move up the chain. So all in all, how do you think about this idea that maybe we're overstating the K-shape and wealth and income inequality? Because, I mean, the deputy overlord just said to us, like, hey, the data actually show that the inequality measures are not good over the long term. These are a much shorter term time horizons.
Right. Three years from this article. But yeah, I mean, we were discussing before we came on the air about this article. Takeaway for me is that yes, the less affluent seem to be spending, equally or more than the wealthy. And my question was, and I'm not saying this is what I believe, but my first thought was, and this will probably piss some people off, is that are the wealthy more responsible, in how they spend their money? I wish I could see where all these transactions were going.
Right.
Like, are there transactions coming from the wealthy that are like, going to their brokerage accounts? They're not spending the money, but it's going elsewhere. They're investing the money.
Or they're spending some portion and having fun, but you can't only, if you're making gobs and gobs of money, then you're only going to spend so much. But if you're on the lower end, or, let's say household income's like around 84,000 median household income. And if you're below that, are you spending a lot of money on your daycare costs? Are you spending a lot of money on your babysitters and your health care? All these things that require you to spend more money, that it's not exactly like you're living a lavish lifestyle. I really believe we are still in the shadow of the pandemic where things got totally distorted and it hasn't settled yet.
No,
I think we should listen to it and try to understand, where is this coming from? Childcare costs a lot more than the rate of inflation, right? We just know that. Elder care costs a lot more than the rate of inflation. Housing has risen faster than the rate of inflation. Utilities have risen faster than the overall rate of inflation. So all that being said, there are people who are going to say, I feel like the bottom part of that K, I don't feel like the top part. And if you're at the top part, you should feel very grateful and save a lot of money. And I don't know what else to say about that, except to say that that's it. It'll be interesting to see how these trends really wash through. Well, Jillionaires, listeners, viewers, we love you so much, and we love your comments, even though I'm so thin-skinned that I don't read them myself. But thankfully, people curate this. We did a TikTok takedown, Mark, that was really interesting, where we had this guy who was giving advice, which was the U.S. market's about to crash. Everyone should invest in international markets. You and I kind of were negative on that advice.
If you have to own stocks, own them outside America. Don't own U.S. stocks. I'm not confident that U.S. equities will be intact in 5 years, 10 years.
This guy is Jeremy Grantham. I think we might have edited out the fact that, I actually know who this guy is, and he has a very long history. But I'm just going to read 3 of the comments that are representative of a lot of the comments we got on Instagram. Follow us on Instagram. Okay, here we go. What about 100 years of data? Everyone seems to miss the disclaimer at the bottom of every prospectus. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. If we keep going on the way we are, we will collapse our system. You do not have to believe it is happening, but do not complain when or if it does.
That's a comment on Instagram?
That's a comment. Let me give you number 2. The hint remains valid. It is not wise to hang up all your life savings on one single country's economy. I saw this interview a while ago, and I acted on it with no regret. Okay. 3rd, we have videos of people like this in 2007 bloviating about the strength of the housing market as well. You don't know as much as you think you do.
Oh, wow. So all 3 of these.
Very negative about us. Okay, can I just talk? I want to talk a little bit about this. So, first of all, I love that someone's saying past performance is no indication of future results.
True.
Totally true. And, Grantham's a smart guy. He's been running this GMO for a long time. He's a rich guy. He's also been wrong for a long time. So Grantham has been actually sort of for about 10 or 12 years been saying the bottom's about to fall out. In 2023, his outlook letter, this is January 23, And here is what he wrote in 2023. After a timeout back to the meat grinder, there's going to be a 50% crash. Then he said we're in a super bubble. It's on the verge of popping. He put a 70% probability on a crash, matching the patterns of 1929, 2000, and 2021. He did predict the dot-com and housing market busts of 2000 and 2008. Okay? Guess what, Jeremy Grantham, and also all you commenters? I also predicted the 2000 bubble. And let me tell you what happened to me. I was managing money for a little financial advisory firm, and I was the chief investment officer. And so to be clear, in 1999, which may have been the worst year of my entire career, I started pulling out of a lot of technology holdings because I said, this is not sustainable. This is crazy. And it was early, and I lost a ton of business. People are like, I made 84% in my mutual fund this year, and your crappy portfolio, Jill, made like 25%. And so I got fired a lot in 1999, a lot. Then in 2000, the bubble burst. And then I got all this notoriety. People were like, she predicted that this was going to crash. This is how I first started going on television, Mark. So I got out early in 99. I did miss the bottom. When did I get back in, do you think?
When did you get back in? I don't know. Early 2000s?
So I missed a lot of the turn back up. Okay? And so here is why I reacted to that video, I think, is that I have been in the place where I did get one part of the market timing decision correct. And I screwed up the second part of it. Now, I didn't lose a ton of clients because of missing the back end, because people were just so happy they missed the worst of it. But you and I know that we can look at, like our friend Ben Carlson. He has all the data about, like, if you miss the worst days,
Like the 5 best days,
if you miss the 5
days.
worst days and the 5 best days, like what happens? And what we actually know is something kind of fascinating, which is staying invested and maybe not having all of your money in US or all of your money in one country or all of your money in Bitcoin or all of your money in gold. You don't need to do that. But if you do stay invested and stick with your plan, it actually works. So, if you are that person who said, I acted on this advice and I got out of the US market, you might be right in the short term. When are you going to get back in?
As we always like to say, it's time in the market, not time in the market. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's impossible. It's so incredibly hard to execute.
And, are we going to put that pressure on ourselves to try to pick when to get in and out of markets? And I even think about like that experience in 2000 to 2002 for me, which is like you get all this adulation because, oh, you're all right. And nobody really holds you accountable for when you don't get back in. And so the cool thing is about looking back in time and saying, yeah, you're right, past performance is no indication, but we can look back at crashes, what happened, we can look at recoveries, we can look at how portfolios perform, and it won't perform exactly the same way, but I like having that data as a basis for why we would try to move forward.
I like 100 years.
So Instagram commenters, TikTok commenters, YouTube commenters, keep them coming. Okay, gang, it's time for the TikTok takedown. Let's run the video and see what we have today.
What's your personal recession indicator?
Dude, I know a recession is coming because one of my best friends, who's a real estate agent, just told me that he wants to apply to law school.
Tattoo artists are taking walk-ins again and accepting trades.
Like, even the bitches who have the money don't want to spend it on plastic surgery.
I have just been eating cheese every single night for the past week.
31 years old, I live with my parents, I have adult braces, and I still get bitches.
It is my willingness to now do a return. Like, now, I need every single coin.
Like, things that used to be included as a part of a service or as a part of a meal, now all of a sudden it's extra.
Back in my day, the scam text used to be like, you want an iPhone, you want a gift card, here's your free card. Now they're like, do you want a job?
The biggest recession indicator to me right now is how people react when they find out somebody they know live at home with their family.
3 country-ass girls posting DIY recipes for ACP. The bitches is not even eating at Mexican restaurants anymore.
People don't care about the small holidays like that anymore. Those used to be excuses to spend money, drink, party.
I just found out that people have been creating LLCs and companies and then adding them as a LinkedIn page and then giving themselves an internship.
Wow, that last one is like very savvy. Should we define a recession?
There's a lot of crap out there.
A lot of crap.
Yeah. How many quarters of negative growth?
Well, I mean, listen, there's sort of like the loose way of thinking, like 2 consecutive quarters where the economy's shrinking. But then there's the National Bureau of Economic Research, which is like some, body of wonky people who look back in time, and they often declare recessions after they have occurred. So interestingly, what I think is fascinating about this is that we haven't had a deep, scary recession outside of the COVID 5-week dump.
Yeah, that was a blip.
That was a blip since 2008, 2009. So we haven't. It's been a long time since we've had a deep, nasty recession.
Almost 20 years.
Which results in broad job losses that lasts a long time. And you have an unemployment rate that rises and stays high for a long time. And there's just like a world of pain, and it can often take years to get out of that. Usually they last, anywhere from, let's call it 6 to 12 months. That was an especially long one, and it took a long time to really claw our way back. Now, the indicator of a recession, it's funny how it changes. There used to be something called the hemline indicator. Do you know about this?
Hemline?
Yeah.
I did at one point.
So when hemlines were higher, when women wore short skirts, that was an indication that things were really good. And when hemlines went down to the knee and below, that was an indication that bad times were upon us. So to me, a recession indicator was always like ramen noodles, but I guess now it's a roast con pollo. I guess what the real question is, why is this happening now, and how does it actually impact their lives?
We're not in a recession.
We're not in a recession.
Like the economy is
growing.
Booming by all accounts.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, well, I wouldn't say booming. I would say the economy is growing. So, Mark, in this attention economy, as it's called, this kind of stuff can be fun, right? Can be. Can be fun. I mean, it's a joke. It's like, what's the recession
Eye of the beholder,
indicator?
I guess. Eye of the beholder, whoever's looking at it.
And maybe it's just sort of a fun thing that they're doing. So maybe I should just get over myself. But even instead of doing this, if I really were worried about a recession, I get my game plan together. And then I'd make the video. Like, if you knew the recession was coming in 3 months, what would you do, Mark? Right now, what would your advice be? If all these people are freaking out and people are creating LLCs and giving themselves fake internships and they're eating a roast con pollo and people are moving back home, what should somebody do if they really thought a recession was coming?
Yeah, well, tell me when that's going to happen. But if we knew when the recession was coming, I would probably be doing everything to batten down the hatches and stockpile some cash.
Okay, so when I think about recession prep, I think, okay, we like to talk about having 6 to 12 months of your expenses in a safe place. If you really thought a recession was coming, or you thought you were scared you were going to retire, parents were going to retire into a recession, or you're going to lose your job, you want to have a little bit more than that. You want to say, like, okay, maybe it's 12 to 18 months if I really thought a recession was coming.
And some people will say, Jill, you're nuts.
Exactly.
How am I going to do that?
And you're it's better than scrolling through these videos and doing nothing. So maybe the other thing to do is to go through your budget right now and say, here's how I'm spending my money today. What's my plan B?
I don't know if maybe we live in a vacuum living here in New York City, but contrary to everything we just saw in this video, when I go out on a Friday night and a Saturday night and I'm walking around the neighborhood where there's just a ton of bars and restaurants, these places are packed with young people spending a lot of money.
And they're not all like finance people, and they're all different. I was out at a restaurant and I couldn't get a seat at the bar because I like sitting at the bar. And I said to the guy, I knew the guy, the owner. I'm like, who are all these people at the bar? He goes, oh, they work at the restaurant next door. Their shift's about to start. So these are servers at the restaurant next door who are at this restaurant eating out before their shifts. Mm-hmm. So it does say something to me that all these videos and these things that get put together. I mean, if you want to spend your time doing this, I know I'm like a one-woman prayer out here that you stop making yourself crazy going through all this. And if you are feeling a little bit crazy and you think we are nuts and we don't get it, get in touch with us. Go to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, write us a note, come join us and tell us what's going on out there for you so we can help you come up with this Plan B spending issue. Thanks so much for watching. That's the program. If you've got a question, if you want to send us a TikTok that we should look at, just obviously go to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, get in touch with us, follow us, like us, subscribe to us, do all those things. Thanks again for watching. We'll catch you next time.